Hey guys! For today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, but also kind of still in the vein of things that I've done before. I guess that's what a little bit different means. I have so many American Girl doll clothes. When I got back into American Girl, you saw my restoration video, I had found all the clothes that I had previously gotten for Felicity. They were in a couple of bags in my closet. Since then, I have got more outfits as well as made one, as you saw in that video, and I have plans to make more. The way that I've been keeping them has been in this bag. I think I showed it off briefly in the video showing off my newest American Girl, Sammy, who is in fact a Samantha from probably the 90s, but she doesn't feel like a Samantha to me. So she's Sammy. It is quite full. These are the two bags I found the stuff in, and it's hard to show on camera. It's also very noisy, but that's how I've been keeping all of the clothes that I have right now, all the clothes and accessories. And it's actually quite heavy, and I don't like the fact that they're in a bag like that. They're laid nicely in there, and most of them are on hangers, but I want to be able to actually hang them up in some way. So I was thinking maybe I'll buy some kind of wardrobe. Surely American Girl has something like that. They do. It's $125, and it's a lot smaller than I wanted. It basically is designed to carry a couple of outfits and accessories and the doll itself, so it's really not big enough for what I had in mind. I did some more research, and I found that Next Generation, no, Our Generation, Next Generation is a K-pop group, Our Generation also has a closet, but it's more stationary furniture to be put on the floor or on a table in the little kid's room, and I don't have space for that. I want a trunk like what AG has, but I need it to be bigger for what I have in mind. Then I started thinking, well, maybe I can make something. And I started scouring the internet for ideas and anyone who might have made something before and have instructions of. I found some listings on Etsy. I found this one, which is for a vintage looking steamer trunk made out of cardboard and cardstock. But as you can see, it's much smaller than the doll itself and would again only hold a couple of clothing items and accessories. I also found this vintage pattern on Etsy for a trunk similar to the one American Girl sells, and I was like, but still that's not quite what I want. I wanted something bigger. So I thought, why don't I find things in stores and make it myself? Kind of just looking at what I looked both at Michael's and Home Depot has, and wooden crates was something I was seeing a lot, and it wasn't ideal because of the fact that it was slats, so there was gaps between them, and I wanted something fully covered, but I also didn't want raw wood exposed. I never found anything. So I had scrapped that idea, and the video that I did end up making for that week was the stays video. While I was making the stays, I decided, you know what, maybe I will buy that vintage pattern that I saw. So I did. I bought the vintage pattern, and it might not be exactly what I wanted, but I thought maybe I can use it as a jumping off point and have it be more what I want. It requires a lot of new materials that I don't have, a lot of hardware, nails and hinges and clasps, and I think wood. I know it calls for a wooden dowel. I never really figured out exactly what I needed for this pattern because not long after I got it, and while I was still working on the stays, I found out that my unemployment benefits will be running out soon. So I have put a no buy ban on for the foreseeable future. So the buying of new materials, like something I would need for this, I'm not going to be able to get a hold of. But I had a revelation the other day. What if I make it out of cardboard? And no, not the steamer trunk pattern. Make it the way I want it to look. I have plenty of cardboard in the house, so why don't I just make it myself? There's really no other way of putting it. I collected some of the boxes that I think would be big enough. I have some more that I can use. And I thought, why don't I show you guys me making a large clothes trunk for my American Girl dolls. Okay, so I'm kind of mulling it over in my head, and at first I was just going to have a trunk where one side has a bar that runs across the whole side of that trunk to hang things up, and the trunk would be wide enough for something pretty simple to be hanging and not have it crushed. This is one of the longest dresses I have. The other one is the Christmas dress. And I had previously measured it. That's about 10 and a half. Sleeves, it'd be a little bit more like that. That's about 11. Yeah, so I had previously measured this dress and I got 11 inches. So it would be hanging this way in the trunk. I want something, originally I wanted to have the one bar across one side, and then like a normal trunk where one side is wider than the other, and it opens. But I have so many clothes that I actually kind of want to make it double wide and have bars on both sides. So if a single dress is about 10 to 11 inches, I would want the trunk to be probably close to 20 inches wide. And American Girl are 18 inches tall. Now, this is not a trunk that I would have any storage of doll in. I would want, so with the hanger, it's 16 inches, but you would need space where the bar is when it hooks on, so you can actually hook it on easily. So 16, an inch of 17, let's say 18, to give it space so it's not touching the floor, because you don't want it sitting where it's kind of lower than how long the item is. So that's a pretty big box. I could just go 20 inches by 20 inches. We'll see. I want it to be able to hinge open. And I am going to be using all materials that I already own. Like I said, I'm making it out of cardboard. I was thinking of double thick cardboard, so gluing two pieces together to make sure it's nice and sturdy. And that's that extra cardboard that I have downstairs comes in, because I don't know if what I've brought up is enough. I'll show you. I just found some of the biggest boxes, but also some small boxes. Yeah, there's a lot here. I also have thin cardboard that was from inside calendars that I was saving originally for junk journal stuff, but then never used. I know I also have a lot of cereal boxes, again, saved for junk journals that I kept but still haven't used, so I might use some of that for some finer details, because I don't want it to just be a box. I want it to look good. I don't know if I'm going to try and do mitered corners. If you don't know what a mitered corner is, let me take this off the mount real quick. That's a mitered corner. You see it a lot in picture frames. It makes it nice and pretty, and it comes to a point and you don't have any like raw edges visible. So I don't know if I'm going to try and do something like that. I know I also want a carrying handle on top of some kind, preferably something nice and sturdy. I have some options in mind, but I don't know what I want to go for. I also have wooden dowels. I have a pretty skinny one, but I don't know how skinny it is and if the hangers would fit over it. I have to test that. Let me get that real quick. Here's the wooden dowel. It's 7/16 wide. Oh yeah, that fits perfectly. Not too big, but it fits through that opening. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'll use that for the post. I definitely know I want some kind of accessory storage. So maybe like a bottom drawer situation under, well, if I do a bottom drawer, then I'll need to make it taller than 18 inches so that the clothes, again, aren't being crushed against the bottom. Make it 20 by 20 for now. Yeah, all there really is just kind of start figuring out how much cardboard I have and the dimensions. So yeah, I really don't know. I think the first step is to start flattening out these boxes and making them flat so that I can figure out what I need. So having all of the cardboard cut up is all well and good, but I really need to start figuring out the dimensions of not only the full size, but like the drawers, how many drawers. I also want to see how much space the clothes take up on the hangers hanging from something. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do that first. Have everything hung up, see where it gets me. All right, that's all of the outfits. Everything else is accessories, shoes. Here they all are. But it gives you gives me a kind of good idea at how much room they'll take up. All together, about 9 inches, 10 inches, I'd say, if they were all on the same side. Since I know I need drawers, I think I would split it up to have everything that hangs kind of short. Yeah, it's not touching the table, and you can't really see it, but it's at about 17 or 18 inches. So giving me that 20-inch margin was pretty correct, I think. Bar hanging in here like that, and like that. If I have a drawer that is 3 inches tall, 1, 2, 3, like that.
This is bad for us. We can get it. You can do it. Nope. This is a problem. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh! What was that? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yeah.
With 12 inches length, 12 inches height, 22 inches. Drawers. I'm an idiot.
Just trying to help Junior get his
Box drawers.
You're flex. That's how it feels like right now. Aaron, you're paddling. Alright, yeah, leave it. This earlier. First. Wow, like it is a museum, but it's also an art installation, and it's not. You're finding a film right now. Is it?
No, but I
Okay. I have all of my pieces. I haven't done the drawers yet because I realized as I was, gluing stuff together that the drawer would be this big and that's a really big drawer. So I'll probably have it be only 6 inches deep of a drawer and 3 inches tall and 12 inches wide. But I have to build the base, the outside structure first before I do that. I have 4 12 by 12 pieces, so that's my top and my bottom for both halves, and I have 6 12 by 24 walls, which is wrong. It was supposed to be 22, and I got it in my head because the two sides equals 24. I don't know why I cut that first piece at 24 inches, but I did. And yeah, I ended up having to use the really big box, as you saw. It was a Sterilite hamper box that we've had around for a while. I had used some of the cardboard for something else at one point, just a little bit of it. But I'm like, oh yeah, I only need one long side of this box. No, I needed the entire box because that one long side wasn't enough for more than one piece. So this is from one side and I didn't have a lot left over. So as you saw, I pieced it together, taped it together. 2 of these bottom bits are made from calendar boards, the boards inside calendars to keep them from bending, the wall calendars. So those are my other 2 bottom or top pieces. And then at the end, I just had to start piecing things together, taping them together to get them to fit. Some of these are not perfectly to size. Towards the end, I just stopped caring about having it be perfectly 24 inches every piece, because it got to be too much to really care that much about it. The thing I'm not sure how to do is I don't know how I want to put them together, in the sense that, do I have the walls sit on top of the base or on the outside of the base? Because there's math involved to do stuff like that, and I didn't do that. And if I did outside, they would have to be slightly longer so that they can meet up with each other. But then again, because they are kind of wonky, maybe I don't have to worry about that. All I know is that I have to move the camera because this mount can't be here, so I can build upright. There it goes. Yeah.
There, it's from what I understand, like interesting shops and pizzeria. There was all graffiti all the way down to clothes. That was a great time. But it was just a tiny house. And I like that is my favorite thing. Like that's
All right. I have finished the drawers. I know my filming wasn't great, so you really couldn't see what was going on, and I apologize for that. But I have 3 drawers. I originally said it was going to be 3 long drawers, but as I was working, I found a box that I hadn't fully taken apart yet, so it still had its sides on. It was actually the box my latest American Girl dog came in, and I realized that half of it, or I say a part of it, was a perfect size for a half size drawer. So I just made up 2 of those, and I even created a divider between them, as well as a stop block in the back for both those drawers and this bottom drawer. You can see, because I realized I didn't want my drawers to be 12 by 12. That would be way too big. So I made them 6 inches deep, 3 inches tall, and 12 inches long for the bottom drawer. And then the 2 small ones are like, I think they're technically 6 by 6, but they turned out a little bit more rectangle, which is fine. Probably closer to 6 by 5. I haven't figured out what the pull is going to be on the drawers, the drawer pull. Sorry, my filming is horrible when I'm holding the camera. So I can't push them all the way in or they'll get kind of stuck. But with this done and the other half already done, the next thing to do is consider decorating. So the plan for decorating is, well, the plan was I was going to use the scrapbook paper that I have. I have a lot of scrapbook paper and a lot of fun colors, the kind of stuff that I use for junk journals. And I was going to use that to decorate both of the inside and the outside, but because they're so big, remember, this is only one half of it. They're so big that I feel like I don't have enough of any one kind of scrapbook paper, like a specific design. I know that most of the ones that I have, a single like book or whatever you want to call it of scrapbook paper has 2 sheets with the same design on it, and that's it. And they're 12 by 12 inch squares. So that's really not going to do me much for something that's this big. And I would paint it if it wasn't for the fact that so much of it has this tape on it. So you would see the texture of the tape. You got this book tape, which is got a rough kind of papery texture, and then there's a lot of it that is duct tape, so it's that shiny kind of texture. Not to mention, I didn't do a great job of not putting labels on the outside. I wanted to try and keep all labels and printing on the inside as I glued things up, and I kind of messed it up a couple times. So there are places where there is printing and labels that would be visible under just layers of paint. I still think that there are places that I will just paint because it will be easier. The inside of the drawer, like cavities, I think I'm only going to paint because you really won't see them anyway, because the drawer really won't come out fully all that much. Also, this drawer is such a perfect fit that the addition of tape underneath to get this little shelf for the second set of drawers up actually makes it a bit of a tight fit now. It was perfect when I made it, but now it has like a spot somewhere around here where it kind of struggles to get pushed in all the way. So I fear if I put paper on either the inside of the drawer cavity or the outside of the drawer itself, it'll make it too tight. So I might only not paint the inside at all. Just leave it as it is. Paint the outsides and only put paper on the inside or the front face of the drawers, and then maybe on the inside, because the inside of the drawer I'll see a lot. So that's what I'm thinking for the drawers. For the rest of it, I feel like painting it will be easier because I won't have to worry about trying to line up the holes in the paper, in any kind of paper for the rod. Yes, there's texture from tape, but there'll be clothes inside, so you really won't see any of it. And honestly, it's for me, so like I won't be seeing, I'll be seeing it more than anybody else. For these rough edges though, maybe I'll take some computer paper just to kind of round out the edges, cover up some of these gaps, and you know, the edge of the cardboard, just to kind of cover up. It's only going to be on this side and the tops of the drawers, maybe only the front edge. You can't see that. Tops of the drawers, maybe, probably only the front edge here, whereas these three sides will be left bare. Same with the small drawers. I could cover either with paper or with tape. I was thinking about covering it with tape. And the same goes for this edge, these edges here, covering them up somehow. The other side is a lot simpler because it doesn't have any of this. But yeah, I think I'm going to start with the drawers since they're smaller and easier to deal with. So I got the drawers painted on three sides. These will be the sides that are on the inside of the thing, and then this side I'll put some kind of paper on it. I have some paper selected, as well as some bits and bobs to decorate with later. That are the big drawer painted. I also painted around the edges here. I covered these three edges with tape, and then having learned with painting the boxes, 2 coats of paint covers up the black tape. Like obviously there's still texture, and you can really see it on camera here. There's still that texture of tape, but 2 coats really help make it opaque because of the fact that it's duct tape and it's really smooth. You can see it on the boxes here. Because it's duct tape and it's really smooth, you have to have 2 coats to make the paint appear opaque on that smooth surface. I didn't do so hot on that side, but that's fine. I don't really mind. I just wanted them to not be obviously cardboard and tape. And like I said, they're going to be inside the drawer pretty much all the time, except for when I need to get something. I realized I need to figure out drawer pulls before I put the paper on, because I was kind of thinking of, I don't know if it's still wet, of having the paper wrap over and covering either just a little bit of the inside, but at least covering this edge on all 3 drawers. On the big drawer, I have these like long strips from a previous project. I could just put one of those on top. Again, I don't know if that will make it too tight of a fit in the little drawer space. But I need to figure out the drawer pull first. So I've been trying to decide how I want to do the drawer pulls, and I think using wire to kind of cinch it into place, and then using like a bead or a button. The kind of look I want the closet / trunk to kind of invoke is vintage. You know, it's not only it's Felicity's closet, but it's also Emily and Sammy's closet. So just something that's maybe not timeless, because I know that's going to be hard for me to find something that's timeless. But just, you know, also in my color palettes, which are, you know, green and brown, and also vintage, hence all of the vintagey kind of papers that I pulled. So I want the drawer pulls to at least fit into that aesthetic. How many buttons? I need 4 closures in total. Closures / drawer pulls. So I need 3 drawer pulls, and then I need a closure for the whole thing. Potentially 2 to keep it closed. So maybe I will use these.
Someone in chat asked, how do I turn off the into my area and I didn't even notice.
It's mostly done. I'm definitely calling it quits here. This took me exactly a week. I started it last Sunday and today is Sunday. I don't really know what I was expecting. I don't know if I expected it to be easier or something. I don't know. I did have fun making this using parts of my brain I don't normally use. It's not great. There's a lot of exposed tape. I tried painting over tape in various places. You saw it with the drawers here. That was pretty successful. 2 coats. Doesn't take the texture of the tape away, but takes the shininess of the tape away and it blends it all in. I tried to paint over the tape on the inside edges here, and this wasn't structural tape. This was cosmetic to cover up the raw edges of the cardboard, since I didn't really have a plan for covering that up. I ran out of paint. I used an entire bottle of paint. They're small bottles. They're only about this big. But to paint the green on the inside of both of these, I used up the entire bottle. So I was never able to do a second coat. And that's what you really need for this duct tape to not look like paint on tape. It's very streaky. You can still see the printing on the inside, but the clothes technically cover that up. And the shape isn't great. I had measurements, as you saw, but there were some edges that I just didn't make straight, or I thought were straight but weren't. I think it was this edge, or maybe it was one of these back edges. It was kind of jagged, and I couldn't do anything about it at that point because it was this edge, because I'd already covered it in tape, getting it confused with which edge was going to be the hinge and which edge was going to be the opening. There is some tape that I didn't cover up, like the hinge. I didn't even bother. The tape here covering up the wire that I used to install the buttons, and the tape, you can't see it, but there's tape on here to keep the elastic in place. The elastic alone was an issue. I only had 2 pieces and they were different sizes. I have other elastic that I liked the look of the round elastic, and they should have both been the size this piece was. Some things were easy to do, like making the handles. It's just braided cord. It's this kind of cord that I got in those packs. Here, I can show it to you in a white. So it's just this kind of like braided cord. I used that for the handle down here, and then I had enough to braid and make handles for the top. It has a lot of room. There's a lot of room still, which is good because I plan on making more outfits. So I have room to put more stuff in there. It also means that my clothes are now hanging and not shoved into a bag, which I felt like was making them be wrinkled. The drawers, they turned out fine. Like, the construction of them were great. It was the drawer shelf area that didn't work out great. This right side is tight. It slopes down. I tried to prevent that from happening, but it's slightly lower. So this, whatever drawer is in this space, it's too tight, so I can't push it in all the way. I mean, I can, but I have to really force it, and then it's hard to get out. Luckily, it doesn't, I don't think it'll impede the closing of the whole thing. Same with this bottom drawer. It was a perfect fit before any glue, tape, paint, before any of that paper, before any of that was put down. So it was a perfect fit when it was just bare cardboard and bare cardboard. But now it's too tight. I don't know if it's the paper on the front. I think it's definitely the tape on the insides, because there's also this shelf that these two sit on, and it's probably a smidge too low, and it's just a lot of things that added up to it not fitting great. It's way bigger than I expected it to be, which is crazy considering I know I have made it 12 by 12, but it's not too heavy. I haven't picked it up yet with all the clothes in there. I haven't closed it with all the clothes in there. So let's see. Oh, all right. The drawer does get in the way. There, okay. Okay. Just needs a little push. This table is not flat. It's definitely awkward picking it up at that height. 24 inches up, basically picking it up by my head. But it's not too heavy. The paper is not ideal. I realized that because of how tall it was going to need 2 pieces of this scrapbook paper. And because, like I was saying, these kinds of books, scrapbook paper books, only carry 2 of one print, I had to have a design on every panel. So we've got these 2 floral ones here, this kind of herringbone wood on this side, this light polka dot brown on this side, and then on the back, which I had to do last because I wanted the tape of the hinge to be covered at least partly, got these stripes and this checkered. The pages not fully covering the cardboard did not come to mind. Like, I did not think it was going to be too small. I think the first side I did was the birds. That's the first side I did. And I was like, wow, there's all this exposed tape on all the sides, on the bottom, up here along the top edge. But there's really nothing I could do about that with just this paper. So I just kept going. Some sides were better fit than others, like this one. There's no tape showing except for the very bottom. Some sides are wider, and I think it's because of the way I constructed it. If I had done mitered corners, they would have been perfectly 12 inches in every direction. But because I overlapped in various directions, it ended up being slightly wider. I think at some point I'm going to use like cereal box cardboard to cover up all of the sides. Even the ones where they do meet, they only meet on one side. Like this side, it doesn't meet this corner. So I would use the cardboard, the cereal box cardboard, to basically like frame every edge. And the frames would meet at the corners to cover up all the exposed tape. And I probably would paint it like a brass color, like a gold or kind of like an antique gold color, to continue the theme of this kind of antique trunk. Even though it's not a trunk anymore, it doesn't look anything like a trunk. It's definitely more just a portable closet, which is what I wanted. I wanted something that would hold a lot of clothes and accessories. I didn't really have plans of what would be in the drawers other than the bottom drawer has all of the shoes. So I have all the doll shoes in here. Pair that came with Emily, some of the pairs that I got recently. And it's deep enough that I think the boots that Sammy are wearing will still fit inside without being too tall. After that, I was like, well, obviously I'm going to put all like accessories in these smaller drawers, which I did do. I have, the Halloween accessories for the cat costume, glasses case, the little bag that came with the hippie outfit, the 2 pairs of underwear that I've gotten, and a lone sock. So that ended up being one of the drawers. The other one originally was going to be all of the hair accessories, but I realized I needed a place for all of the hats. I only have 3 hats. It's this one that came with this outfit, this one that comes with the hippie outfit, and Felicity's original bonnet. Because I didn't think about hats at all when building this. And honestly, I don't even know where I would put something for hats, like a little wall hanger. Like, I really don't have space for it. On this side, I ended up saving some boxes. If you've seen my craft room cleaning video, where I go into the closet, I found Felicity's original box that she was shipped in, and some of her accessories came in these, I don't know what were in these two or in this little one, but I saved them just in case. So for the little one, I just put a single regular hair tie and then the hair tie that comes with this outfit. And when I change Sammy out of the red jumper dress, her hair ties will go in here as well. And then this other box is all of the hair ties that I bought for the dolls, since I didn't have any little ones. And then I didn't know what else to do with this last box, so it's all the like little booklets that I have, mostly Felicity, and then one that is the Grin Pins. If you know anything about American Girl doll, Grin Pins was something back in the day. And then of course the hairbrush that I use for them, since I can't find Felicity's original hairbrush. I do want to decorate the outside at some point. I have some stuff for it. These little cutouts from the scrapbook papers, a lot of them look like stamps that I do want to put on the outside, but I want to wait until I have the edges covered because I don't know how big those will be, and I don't want to accidentally put one of the decorations too close to an edge and then have it get covered up. Again, to continue with the vintage theme, I kind of want to look like, even though it doesn't look like a trunk, like a steamer trunk that would travel with somebody, I kind of want the outside to look like it's something that has traveled with someone. And so they would have, you know, stamps and different stickers and stuff like that all over it for travel. All in all, I'm really happy that I did it because now my clothes can hang and look nice. You know, there's a lot that I don't like, but there's a lot that I do. Thank you so much for watching. If you like crochet, sewing, or any other kinds of crafts, please consider a follow. I upload every Sunday, and I hope to see you there. Bye.